Fleet Commander Zach Vaughn fixed 4 of his 6 eyes on the shimmering holographic display, while the other 2 remained locked on the strategic battle calculator. The figures left no room for doubt. 10,000 Cracks warriors arrayed against a lone human female. Predicted victory odds, 99.99998%. Almost shameful, Zach murmured, mandibles clattering in a sound that served as laughter for his kind. An entire battalion for a single human. The High Council must be jesting. Lieutenant Drex approached, antennae flicking with unease. Sir, with respect, I've reviewed the subject's file. This human, Anna Reeves, she isn't like the others we've faced. Zach waved a dismissive limb. Please, Drex. Humans have their quirks, sure, but they're still soft-skinned, bone-filled meat sacks. No exoskeleton, no redundant organs, no natural armor. Can't even last more than a few seconds in vacuum. He let out a laugh, harsh and grinding, like gravel in a food processor. What's one human going to do to our forces? File a complaint until we surrender? The view screen flickered to live feed of her ship, an unimpressive, compact vessel that looked like it might disintegrate if someone sneezed too close. That's it? That's her warship? Zach scoffed. Looks like something my spawn would cobble together from discarded mole shells. Sir, Drex pressed, lowering his voice, the reports from the Century sector were not exaggerations. Bah, Zach interrupted. The Century commanders were incompetent fools. Couldn't organize a hive feast even with prepackaged nutrient cubes. At the comms station, Plex suddenly stiffened. Commander, incoming transmission from the human vessel. Oh, this should be entertaining. Zach reclined into his command chair, the living tissue molding itself to his exoskeleton. Put it on screen. Let's hear her surrender speech. The main display shimmered, then resolved into the image of a human, just a human. Pale pink skin, hair the color of sun-bleached sand, tied back in what he'd learned was called a ponytail. Nothing impressive, nothing threatening. Certainly nothing to justify sending 10,000 crack warriors. This is Anna Reeves, the woman said, her tone steady despite the impossible odds arrayed against her. I understand you've brought quite the welcoming committee. I'm flattered. Zach leaned forward. Human Anna Reeves, I am Fleet Commander Zach Vaughn of the Cracks Imperium. Your presence in our territory constitutes an act of war. However, we are prepared to accept your immediate surrender. You will be treated in accordance with the Galactic Conventions on Prisoners of War. The human's lips curved, not in the tight, fearful grimace Zach had anticipated, but in a smile that radiated confidence. Something about it was unsettling. That's very generous of you, Commander Vaughn. But I think there's been a misunderstanding, Anna said evenly. I'm not here to surrender. I'm here to give you that opportunity. A ripple of clicking mandibles swept across the bridge, the Cracks' equivalent of uproarious laughter. You are either brave or suicidal, Zach replied. Our scans show your vessel has minimal weapons capability. You face 10,000 of our finest warriors. The odds? Anna cut in, glancing at her wrist device with casual disinterest. The odds don't concern me. They never have. But since you brought up scanners, how confident are you in their readings? Zach flicked a glance at his tactical officer, who nodded with certainty. Our technology is far superior to anything humans possess. We have scanned every molecule of your pathetic vessel. That's interesting, Anna murmured, tapping her device. Because you should be detecting it now. The bridge erupted in blaring alarms. Tactical displays flared with sudden, impossible readings. Sir, the tactical officer shouted, voice cracking. New energy signatures, they weren't there before. The human vessel. It's changing. Zach rose sharply from his command chair, mandibles twitching in agitation. Impossible! Explain! The tactical officer's limbs blurred across his console. The human vessel appears to be unfolding, sir. Some kind of metamorphic technology we've never encountered. Weapons systems are coming online, energy readings off the scale. On the view screen, Anna's smile widened. Commander Vorn, you're about to learn why the Sentry Sector forces didn't survive to file accurate reports. My ship, the Deception, was designed to appear harmless, until it isn't. Pretty clever name, don't you think? Zach's exoskeleton suddenly felt far too tight. Open fire! All batteries now! Too late, Anna replied calmly. See, you soon. Commander. The transmission cut off. Lieutenant Drex's antennae flattened tight against his head. Sir, perhaps we should consider the humans' offer of— Silence, Zach roared. No Cracks commander has ever surrendered to a human. We outnumber her 10,000 to 1. Sir, the tactical officer cut in. The human vessel has vanished from our scanners. Find it, Zach demanded, detecting multiple small objects approaching our fleet. They appear to be boarding pods. Zach's mandibles clattered in disbelief. She's launching a boarding action against us? Is this human completely insane? The pods are emitting some sort of interference field, the tactical officer reported. Our targeting systems can't lock on. Zach slammed a limb against his command console. Scramble the fighter squadrons, nothing gets through to the capital ships. But the fighters never launched. Explosions rippled through the hangar bays across the fleet. Sir, internal explosions reported on all vessels. Hangar bays compromised. How? Zach demanded. We swept for sabotage devices. Nothing could have— Sir, Plex called out, her voice trembling. Security reports intruders on decks 3 through 7. It's just one human. It's her. One human cannot be on 5 decks simultaneously. Zach snarled. The ship shuddered as something slammed into the hull. Show me the security feeds, Zach demanded. The main view screen split into dozens of panels, each showing a different deck. And in every feed, there she was, the same human, female, Anna Reeves. Sometimes she moved alone, a blur of motion down a corridor. Other times, she was surrounded by squads of Cracks warriors. And winning. This is impossible, Zach whispered. On one deck, Anna disarmed 3 soldiers before they could even raise their weapons. In another, she sidestepped incoming plasma. Bolts, as if she'd known exactly where they would hit before they were fired. Sir, Drex said quietly, the humans have been experimenting with cloning technology. Those aren't clones, the tactical officer replied, his voice hollow. Biometric readings are identical, down to the quantum level. Zach's mandibles twitched. Then, what are they? The officer's gaze was fixed on the screen. They're all her time displacement technology, Zach suggested desperately. Some kind of projections. No, sir, they are physically present. They are just the same person. On the main security feed, one of the Annas looked directly at the camera and winked. The ship's lighting suddenly switched to emergency red. Sir, we have lost contact with the engine room. Life support is failing on decks 8 through 15. The fleet command network has been severed. We can't coordinate with the other ships. Plex's console emitted a high-pitched whine. Commander incoming transmission. It's internal. Put it through. Zach ordered, his voice barely a whisper. Anna's face appeared on the screen. She was standing in Zach's private quarters. Hello again, Commander, she said cheerfully. I'm enjoying your collection of mold sculptures. Very artistic. Though I have to say, your security systems were disappointingly easy to bypass. How are you doing this? Zach demanded. How can you be in multiple places at once? That would be telling, Anna replied with a wink. Let's just say, humans have a few tricks that didn't make it into your intelligence briefings. Now, about that surrender. Never. Zach declared, though, with noticeably less conviction than before. Anna sighed dramatically. You know, the commander in the Sentry Sector said the same thing right before I had to decompress his entire command deck. Such a waste of life. She examined her fingernails casually. I have already disabled your engines, weapons, and communications. Half your fleet is experiencing mysterious system failures. I have taken control of your environmental systems. In about 3 minutes, I could make things very uncomfortable for every cracks on every ship. Zach's antenna drooped. What do you want? The Crax Imperium will withdraw from the Tieti system immediately. You will acknowledge it as neutral territory under the Galactic Accords, and you will release all human prisoners taken during your little scientific expeditions to the outer colonies. The High Council will never agree. The High Council, Anna interrupted, doesn't need to know that you were defeated by a single human. I'm offering you a way to save face, Commander. Take it. What? The bridgeboarding action begins. Fell silent. How do I know you won't simply destroy us once we surrender? Zach asked. Yao. Anna laughed. Commander, if I wanted to destroy you, this conversation wouldn't be happening. Humans aren't like cracks. We don't annihilate those who surrender. Consider it one of our evolutionary weaknesses. Her expression hardened. You have 30 seconds to decide. Drex leaned close to Zach. Sir, if we surrender, we at least survive to fight another day. Zach's mandibles clicked in resignation. Very well, human. The Crax Imperium withdraws from Tieti. We will release all human prisoners, but this isn't over. No, Anno agreed. It never is with your kind. She smiled again. Pleasure doing business with you, Commander. I will be keeping an eye on your withdrawal to ensure compliance. The screen went dark. Issue the surrender order. Zax commanded bitterly. All ships. As the orders went out, the security feeds showed something impossible. The multiple Annas were converging, walking toward each other. And when they should have collided, they merged. What are they? Drex whispered. Zach had no answer. In his private quarters, Anna Reeves sat at the commander's desk, feet propped up casually as she tapped at her wrist device. Mission accomplished, she reported. Minimal casualties on both sides. The cracks are withdrawing. A voice responded from her wrist. Excellent work, Reeves. The quantum multiplier technology performed as expected. Better than expected, Director, Anna replied, watching as the Crack's fleet began its retreat on the tactical display she'd hijacked. Though I still get a headache when my instances reintegrate. A small price to pay for being in 10,000 places at once, the Director replied. Return to base when the withdrawal is confirmed. Yes, sir, Anna said. Then to herself as the communication ended, 10,000 to 1. I like those odds. On the bridge, Commander Zach watched the human small vessel detach from his flagship and drift away. It looked so harmless, so ordinary, sir, Drex ventured hesitantly. What do we tell the High Council? Zach's mandibles clicked softly. The truth, Lieutenant. That humans are far more dangerous than we ever imagined. He paused, watching the tiny ship disappear into the darkness of space. And that the next time we face them, 10,000 to 1 might, the impossible multiplication not be enough. 6 lunar cycles had passed since the humiliating defeat at Tieti. 6 lunar cycles of whispered rumors throughout the Crax Imperium. 6 lunar cycles of Fleet Commander Zach Vaughn reliving his failure on recurring nightmares. The High Council requests your presence, Commander, announced his new lieutenant, Traz, with the careful tone one uses when delivering potentially fatal news. Zach's mandibles twitched nervously. When? Immediately, sir. The walk to the council chamber felt like a death march. Pra warriors they passed in the corridors of the massive space station clicked their mandibles in what could only be mockery. The story had spread despite all attempts at suppression, how the mighty Commander Vaughn had surrendered to a single human female. Probably heading to his execution, Zach overheard one young warrior whisper to another. Good riddance, came the reply. No true cracks would surrender to a human. Zach's limbs stiffened, but he continued walking. They didn't understand. They hadn't seen what he'd seen. The High Council chamber was a vast domed space carved from a single asteroid, its walls embedded with the preserved exoskeletons of legendary Crax warriors. 12 ancient counselors sat on elevated platforms, their aged exoskeletons cracked and patched with ceremonial medals. Fleet Commander Zax Vaughn intoned Grand Counselor Vrex, her voice like ancient parchment crackling approach. Zax moved to the center of the chamber, conscious of every eye tracking his movement. "You surrendered an entire fleet to a single human," Rex stated flatly. "Explain yourself." Zax straightened his posture. "The human possessed technology we have never encountered. She could multiply herself, be in multiple places simultaneously. Our weapons were ineffective, our defenses meaningless." Counselor Rack, notorious for his hawkish stance on humans, clicked his mandibles in derision. "Preposterous. No species has mastered quantum multiplicity. It violates fundamental laws of physics." "Nevertheless," Zack replied, "I witnessed it with my own eyes, as did my entire bridge crew." Grand Counselor Rex leaned forward. "We have reviewed your ship's records. They are disturbing but inconclusive. The human could have employed any number of deceptions, which is why interrupted a new voice from the chamber entrance. I brought proof." All eyes turned to see Science Director Kell entering, followed by a hovering containment unit. Director Kell Rex acknowledged with surprise. "The Council did not summon you. No. But this matter directly concerns my division." Kell replied, guiding the containment unit to the center of the chamber. "Following the Tau Ceti incident, I dispatched covert observation drones to human space. In what they recorded confirms Commander Vaughn's account, the containment unit projected a holographic display showing a human military facility. Surrender at Tau Ceti. The timestamp indicated it was recorded just 14 solar rotations ago. This is a classified human research installation on their Mars colony," Q explained. "Watch carefully." The projection zoomed in to show a testing chamber. Inside stood a human female, not Anna Reeves, but another with darker skin and curly black hair. "Test. Subject, Mera Patel," a voice announced in the recording. "Quantum multiplier test 347, phase stability extended to 60 minutes. The human woman, Mira, stepped onto a platform. Energy fields surrounded her, and then she split. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, or became 8. Each copy perfect, moving independently. The council chamber fell completely silent. "As you can see," Kill continued, "the humans have indeed mastered quantum multiplicity technology. A single human can become many, each version operating with the same consciousness, but able to act independently." "How?" demanded Counselor Rack. "How is this possible?" "Our analysis suggests they have found a way to exploit quantum entanglement at the macro level," Kill explained. "The human consciousness somehow remains unified across multiple physical bodies, which can then reintegrate into the original form. The military implications are catastrophic," added another counselor. "A single human soldier could become an army, infiltrate any facility, overwhelm any defense." Zack felt a complex mix of emotions, vindication that his account was proven true, but also deeper dread about what this meant for the Crack's Imperium. "There's more," Kell said gravely. "The human known as Anna Reeves has been spotted again near our outpost in the Riel system." Grand Counselor Rex's ancient exoskeleton seemed to pale. A single outpost would be defenseless against such technology, which is why Kill continued. "I have developed a countermeasure." He tapped the containment unit, changing the display to show schematics for a device, a quantum field disruptor. Theoretical models suggested would prevent the human multiplier technology from functioning within its range. Hope flickered through the chamber. Zack felt it too. A chance to redeem himself. "The prototype is ready," Kell announced, "but untested against actual humans." Grand Counselor Rex's compound eyes shifted between Kell and Zack. "Commander, the Crack's High Council Vaughn, you have faced this human before. You will take the quantum disruptor to Riel and eliminate the threat." Zax's antenna straightened with surprise. "You are giving me another command." "Consider it your opportunity for redemption," Rex replied coldly. Succeed, and your honor will be restored. Fail. The implication hung in the air like poison gas. I understand, Zack said, bowing deeply. You depart immediately, Rex declared, and the future of the Crax Imperium may depend on your success. 3. Solar rotations later, Zack stood on the bridge of the heavy cruiser Invincible, approaching the Riel outpost with extreme caution. Unlike his previous command, this was a stealth mission, one ship specially modified with the quantum disruptor technology. No sign of human vessels in the system, Commander reported his sensor officer Cran. They are here, Zack replied confidently. Our intelligence is reliable. The human Anna Reeves was spotted by 3 separate sources. Lieutenant Traz approached with a data tablet. Sir, the quantum disruptor, ice online and functioning. Its field extends 5,000 spatial units from our position, enough to cover the entire outpost and surrounding space. Zack nodded, feeling a glimmer of satisfaction. Now we wait. If the human attempts to use her multiplier technology within our field, it should fail completely, Traz finished, leaving her vulnerable. Exactly, Zack said, his mandibles forming the Crax equivalent of a predatory smile. 1 human against 1 Crax warship. Much better odds. Hours passed with no sign of human activity. The outpost reported normal operations. Zack began to wonder if their intelligence had been flawed. Sir, Cran suddenly called out, unusual energy signature detected near the outpost's communications array. On screen, Zack ordered. The view screen zoomed in on the outpost's exterior. A small 1-person craft was docked where it shouldn't be attached to the communications array like some kind of mechanical parasite. Scan that vessel, Zax commanded. Sir, it's her craft. The Deception. The same ship from Tati. Zack's exoskeleton tingled with anticipation. Alert Status 1. All warriors to combat stations. Weapon the quantum disruptor plant systems online. Sir? Traz asked hesitantly. Should we warn the outpost? No, Zack replied. If we alert them, we alert her. This is our chance to capture her by surprise. The Invincible moved closer to the outpost, maintaining stealth protocols. Sir, Cran reported, I'm detecting movement. The human is exiting her vessel alone, on T.